Turn on.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With Kabursky Brothers Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click today.
So, yeah.
Spring has sprung in the great state of Iowa, and if you've been thinking about getting outdoors with your family during the best time of year, we want to help you here at Plaza RV. We are a locally owned RV dealer in Bondurant who cares about our customers before, during, and most importantly, after your purchase. Give us a chance. We will treat you like family. Buy local. Buy from Plaza RV.
That's for sure.
Attention all campers.
Keith Murphy.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Andy Fales.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway.
Powered by AD.
Just a bit outside.
Murph and Andy. Proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
It is Murph and Andy. We are live at Wellman's Pub and Rooftop out on the patio with the 2025 Patio Tour. We are today on what we call Siepker time.
Well, it is so warm and sunny here on the patio that the sun has heated up some of our equipment.
Yeah, we had
To make
overheating
some changes. Yeah.
We did. And they've been nice enough to bring us a Sun Cruiser umbrella here. We need it. And it's, what is it, like 68 degrees?
Yeah, it's not even, it's not even 70 degrees. It's beautiful. And the sun, there's no clouds right now, so the sun is making it feel warmer than it actually is, which is perfect. That's what we want for the patio tour. It's a great day to be outside.
Beautiful day.
I wore long sleeves. I shouldn't have.
I wore a sweatshirt. I've already taken that off. AD is still in a Iowa Everywhere sweatshirt. Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. How's your stress doing?
I'm better. I'm more used to these kinds of things than you guys are because I would always come and deal with this stuff early. So yeah, this is par for the course. The fact that we haven't run into any major issues 3.5 weeks into this thing is a miracle. So yeah, we're doing all right.
Yeah, who would have thought that the sun could overheat equipment?
Well, I mean, it's like if you have your iPhone up on the dash of your car while you're driving for a while, it'll shut down.
Oh,
it will. And that's kind of what
about
happened
3
here.
minutes before we went to air, my computer, which runs the whole show, just completely shut off. And then it takes 5 minutes to cool down and warm, turn back on. But we're good.
We found some shade.
We're here.
And,
it's a patio.
Yeah,
I'm so glad to be here. And it's led to some good comments like, is that Mr. Movies internet? Siepker was like, hey, Chat GPT, how do I internet? What are the chances Siepker goes to the Wellmans on Ingersoll? Pretty good.
I mean, at least 50%, if not higher. No. This is the one out in West Des Moines. This is the big one, the new one, you could say. Although it's been here a long time, and this is a good time to be at Wellman's Pub and Rooftop. They're kicking off Wellman's Palooza, which runs all weekend. It's kind of the kickoff to their summer season. I think a lot of people think of Memorial Day weekend as the unofficial start to summer, even though summer doesn't start until third week of June. This is the starting week, even here in Iowa. So Wellman's Palooza, they have live music tonight at 6 o'clock. Final Mix is going to play basically right where we're sitting. And then there's stuff going on Sunday as well. Tomorrow they've got drink specials, bottomless mimosas, bottomless Bloody Marys.
Man,
that could get you in trouble.
Saturday
and Sunday for brunch, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I'm on Red Bull so far. There are a couple seats out here on the patio, but it is pretty full, which we're glad to see. Thank you for showing up. See, Chris Meharry just showed up on his bike. So by any means to get here, please do. The Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for sports and more, including HaliBadAss, Wienie 500, and Who's the A-Hole. It's presented by Guest House Tavern and Oyster West Des Moines, and that's the Patio Tour stop next, correct? Next
Guest
Friday?
House, yep. We'll be a little bit west of here in is that Waukee or is that West Des Moines?
I think it's West Des Moines.
I think it's the Waukee side of West Des Moines.
That's exactly what it is.
It's real nice.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice over there.
Very nice. It's real nice.
They don't say what on the radio? Waukee side of West Des Moines. It's real nice.
I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Yeah,
it's real
nice.
Yeah. All right, let's go high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax wants you to know one thing. If you are in your 20s right now, it is not too early to start planning for your retirement. And I'm telling you, I just happen to have a best friend who was a financial advisor when I was in my 20s, and he basically forced me to. Yeah, now he's got a great situation. Forced me to start my Roth IRA, get retirement savings started. Then, even though I didn't have any extra savings or extra money, still started it then, and I'm so thankful now. That started me off.
Sounds like you're sitting on a pile of cash. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, better off than I would have been, because time is your best friend, and Tim Hawkins is your second best friend. He can help you set all that stuff up there at Wealth Charter Retirement. I'm going to go high here. It's Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is an interesting holiday to me because it's one that's kind of morphed a little bit, but there was no holiday back in the early 1900s. There was no holiday to basically thank or recognize veterans who'd lost their lives in the service of this country in foreign wars or domestic wars. Weren't that far out of the Civil War. And so the veterans of the GAR, the Grand Army Republic, I did this research, they started up basically Memorial Day.
Well, you realize the more segment is like a half hour away.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
So it was to recognize those who died in the Civil War. And it was set up by veterans who didn't die in the Civil War. It later expanded the honor to all those who died in all of America's wars, both foreign and domestic. And with our new video capability, I get to give a shout-out to my favorite Civil War veteran of the GAR, buried over at Glendale Cemetery here in Des Moines, Newton Turnipseed.
That's a real name.
That's him. Yeah, you see his grave right there? I took a picture. Yeah, it's right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Newton Turnipseed.
Newton Turnipseed.
That is...
Now, did you go looking for turnip seed, or you just stumbled across it?
I was just over there trying to find a story and do a story, and I dug up this stuff on the GAR, and then I was looking at... They have like the GAR section of the cemetery is right up there in the front, and everybody blows right past it during Memorial Day to put flags on all the other graves, but not on theirs. I'm like, that's ironic because they're the ones that started this thing.
Yeah.
Right? So he's up front, and I put a flag on his grave that year. And I will say, I don't know that I started the trend, but maybe I pointed out that these guys were getting overlooked. They do get flags every year now. There, the GAR sign. It's right inside the entrance, little circle. Also over at Woodland Cemetery, there's a little area for the GAR veterans as well. But Newton Turnipseed was one of the big ones.
I've always been fascinated.
Of the Polk County turnip seeds.
Yeah, the turnip seeds. I've always been fascinated by how in that period of time, what you did became your name. You're Miller. You're Miller.
Smith.
Keith Sportscaster.
Yeah.
That'd be my name if we were doing this.
Cooper.
Scott Dumbass, whatever you do, that becomes your name. Like what would your name be?
Mine?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Storyteller.
Yeah, Fales is pretty self-explanatory, something like that. I don't know. I don't need any more. My last name just needed to be changed at some point. There needed to be a family meeting with my
I don't think it's that bad.
Great-great-grandparents.
It's not that bad.
Well, you didn't grow up with it. It's tough. It's very
difficult.
I know. It's very, very difficult. But, I mean, we all, coming up in Moore, this is a good tease. Thank you. Coming up in Moore, I got a little segment on another guy with a tough last name to grow up with. And he's kind of going through it right now in the NBA. He's taking a lot of shit from everybody about his name. And you know that he and his whole family are just over it. They don't even notice it anymore. But everybody else is just seeing him for the first time, and they're having fun with it. So we'll have that and more.
A guy last night at Cooney said, boy, Andy sure enjoys some profanity here and there without the FCC. He's a changed man, and we'd like to welcome everybody on Wellman's Patio to the PG-13 version.
So glad to be free and clear of the FCC.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Would you
we are free.
Would you rather have last name be Fales or Assman?
Well, Derek Assman is an officer in the tough last names to grow up with.
But
the club.
he's a good man.
He's a good man. Well, I mean, he will tell you though that he's not going to change that name. He's not going to be the one to change it. I'm not going to be the one that's going to change my last name because that says to my whole family that I'm the one who couldn't take it. Everybody else could. Everybody else found a way.
Remember the famous?
But not me. I'm too delicate.
Remember the famous SNL sketch where they're leaning into the fact that everybody's name, like Miller, Blacksmith, is what they do, and then they introduce Lord and Lady Douchebag.
Yeah, that's right. That was an old skit. That was Bill Murray.
Yeah,
in that,
Bill
right?
Murray was in that for sure. All right, I'm going high. Speaking of high, Reverend Ray is here.
You got
Yeah, Reverend Ray is here.
Yeah, good luck beating Newton Turnip Seed, though. Yeah. There was a waft of patchouli going across the patio here at Wellman's.
He's giving you the rock horns from back there.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, we got it, Reverend Ray. My high is Jenny got the deck ready for this beautiful, we had sunshine. It's been kind of a crappy week, but the deck is all ready to go for a weekend. Our friend Alicia is coming in for the weekend because it's Bryce's birthday this weekend.
That's a well-coordinated deck right there.
Oh, thank you. I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, it's ready to go. The what looks like rocks, those are actually speakers. That's my contribution. The beer fridge is stocked, ready to go. Look at that. We got some Confluence right up there in the front.
Oh, yeah.
What else is in there?
Got your garage beer.
Yeah, there's a garage beer. There's a couple of Busch Lights.
Do you know anybody that calls it a garage?
Garage?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to meet me in the garage?
My great uncle Jane used to say that. He was so pronounced to garage.
Garage.
Well, I got a golf cart out there in the garage. You kids can drive that around the lake.
Elton John song for the longest time. I didn't know what he meant by the garage. But
yeah. That's how they say that.
Is
the
that
English say that's kind of weird stuff.
What is that? What song is that? It's not Tiny Dancer. In the garage. Garage.
Somebody
Any Elton John fans on the patio?
I can't quote that many Elton John songs.
By the way, Elton John, remember Harley Davidson's 100th anniversary?
Yeah. They hired him, right?
They hired Elton John.
That was a
who got around
poor market research,
the boardroom table, and thought, "Hang on, 100-year anniversary. I got it. Elton John." And it was kept this big secret,
but only because George Michael's dead.
Is it Leave On? Leave On is the song.
Leave On, the garage. Thank you.
Yeah.
Way to go. So they're sitting around the boardroom at Harley Davidson. They're thinking 100-year anniversary. This is huge. And then they come up with a special guest that they, paid a small fortune to, fly him into Milwaukee. It's kept a secret. And I mean, they're all out in the audience ready for this reveal. Like, who is it? Who'd they bring in? Is it AC/DC? Did they get Led Zeppelin back together? I mean, who is it? Metallica? It's probably Metallica. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 100-year anniversary of Harley Davidson, please welcome to the stage Elton John.
Yeah, it should have been like Motorhead or
what?
Bad Company or something. Yeah.
Elton John? I mean, Elton John's a legend, but you got to read the room.
Yeah, he's gay as a maypole. Bring him out to the Harley Davidson event.
Somebody saw Crocodile Rock, and they're like, okay, rock star. Here we go.
Yeah, Elton John.
Yeah.
And I mean, the response is not. People aren't mad. They're just shocked.
It was just he was the wrong guy for that place. It's people love Elton John's one of the most popular artists.
Everyone knows his songs.
Yeah, he doesn't belong there. That's not where you put him. That's a square peg round hole situation.
Right.
Put him in. Put his peg in the round hole, and it works.
Okay.
Right. I think I followed that. Let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Oh, heating and cooling solutions for 119 years. Right now, you don't need heating or cooling.
Oh, this is perfect.
Let Mother Nature set the temperature.
The umbrella helped.
It's perfect. Yeah, that is help. It seems like we're being high maintenance people here. Like, oh, can you bring us an umbrella? We don't like
standing over us or something to hold the umbrella.
Can't have Murphy's bald spot peeling off his head just to start the weekend. But it's actually the equipment was overheating, including these laptops. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes,
be careful. Don't trip.
Water.
There's
Very
cords
nice.
everywhere.
Thank you.
Wellman's Rooftop. By the way, 1982 shirt. That's it. Did you see that? It's a nice T-shirt.
Got the 80s lettering.
It's a good year.
AD, have you landed the AKC Marketing Wellman's
Not yet.
connection yet?
I'm working on it.
How many people here on a business lunch with AKC Marketing?
There's a few.
You have accepted some?
There's a couple.
Okay,
Yes.
Jenny did that last week. It worked like a
well.
charm.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, back to the buzz. Tyrese Haliburton, the former Cyclone, is having a moment. Wow. Most clutch player in the NBA, one of the most clutch players in the history of the NBA for this season. He's made like 12 out of 14 shots to tie or win in the final 2 minutes. It's incredible. And then Wednesday night, with the Pacers trailing the Knicks by 14 with 2:45 to play. So just for some context here, the previous 994 times in a playoff game, a team was down 14 or more. With 2:45 to play, 0 came back to win. 0 for 994. And the Pacers came back. They were down 9 with under a minute to play. And that wild final play by Haliburton where he dribbles all around, comes back out, almost turns it over.
The Knicks got 1 or 2 free throws. They knew they weren't safe, but they thought they were in a pretty decent position.
Yeah.
Haliburton brings the ball down the court. Then as he's driving toward the basket, he loses the handle for a second, and the Knicks nearly steal it away, but he gets it back, has enough awareness to look up at the clock, kind of know exactly where he's at. He goes back, tries to tag up behind the three-point line, ends up getting his, toe kind of on the line a little bit, but takes the shot. The shot hits the back iron,
goes way up.
Straight up. The
over
whole
the
crowd
backboard.
goes nuts because there's no way it's coming back down through the hoop.
Wrong.
It does. Right through the hoop. This guy just keeps making up new ways during these playoffs and pull out last-second heroics. They should have called him the most overrated player a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because that is
he would have an MVP by now,
God.
apparently. And he thinks it's a 3 because he's dribbled back out to the line. So he goes to the famous Reggie Miller choke sign, which you see here in this photograph. I mean, it's not subtle. And Reggie Miller is calling the game.
Right.
Turns out they review it, and what a New York Post headline here, choke 2.0. I mean, that's something else. But after you do this and then you find out it's a tie,
you got to win.
You got to win at that point. I mean, he's already public enemy number 1 in New York City at this point, but you got to go win it in overtime, and they do go win it in overtime. And I think the most surprising part of that comeback is that the Knicks scored a few baskets, but Nesmith just kept hitting 3 after 3 after 3.
Yeah, the Pacers poured it on at that point, ended up winning pretty comfortably, but
incredible
to do that in front of a New York crowd, especially the Knicks crowd, because
the celebrity crowd.
It's a celebrity crowd, but more than that, it's just a crowd that's been kicked in the nuts so many times, and they're so used to it, and they get so down. I mean, that place was, decibels through the ceiling to deathly quiet. I mean, it was a sad scene. I felt bad for them. They've been through that so many times, and to just see that happen, you've got it. You've got the win. It looks like you're set. You can put it away, or at least make it very difficult by just hitting a couple of free throws, but you knew they weren't going to hit those. Hit one of them. It's not enough. Goes to overtime, and then they just.
Here is Tyrese Haliburton after the game on the high bouncing 2.
It's going in, it just felt like it got stuck up there though, and honestly when it went in, I thought my eyes might have been deceiving me in the moment, the ball felt like it was up there for eternity. But man, just a special moment.
Special moment for sure. Game 2 tonight, and the Knicks, of course, need to win this. The ratings are way up for this series. I don't think that's a surprise. Game 1 was way up because so many people remember the Pacers Knicks in those series from the 90s. It's just fun to have this again, and it's some balance for the NBA because the Timberwolves and Thunder is a total ratings dud.
Well, and the Knicks are a team that, Pacers, I think there's a lot of people that are neutral on the Pacers. Doesn't seem like anybody's neutral on the Knicks. You're either rooting for them or you're rooting against them. Anytime you've got one of those teams
Big
involved, you're going to get more of a spike. But, just the drama, too, that it seems like Tyrese Haliburton has brought single-handedly has made these games kind of a can't miss.
Well, John Haliburton was at a sports bar watching this game because he has missed the previous 6 games. And again, if you don't know, John and his wife, they're so devoted to Tyrese and his teammates. When Tyrese was at Iowa State, even after Tyrese broke his wrist, John Haliburton and his wife continued to travel to Cyclone away games just to support Tyrese's teammates. So they don't miss games, but he has agreed to not go to any games in the playoffs. He's missed 6. Charles Barkley says it's time to let John Haliburton back at the arena, back to see his son play in person. Now, the reason he's agreed to not show up at the games is he ran onto the court. That was stupid. He got up in Giannis Antetokounmpo's face. That's more stupid. But Antetokounmpo showed restraint. Nothing happened. It could have been a bad situation. But there's a reason he's been banned. But has he done enough time? Let's get a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
Should the NBA let Tyrese Haliburton's dad, John, return to the Pacers' home games? Yes or no?
I think 6 games is enough. I do. He's not going to do anything like this again. He made a big mistake. I don't think there's any more lesson to be learned by having him not go to more games. I get you probably don't want him to go to Madison Square Garden. That could be a problem. But let him go to the home games.
But doesn't the fact that you even have to say that tell you that it's not early enough?
Yeah, so are you a no?
Absolutely a no. Yeah,
You're absolutely a no.
If it's a less level-headed person than Giannis, that's a terrible situation that happens at the end of that series. I mean, that could have gotten really, really ugly very quickly, and it was completely John Haliburton's fault. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Tyrese, but these are consequences for actions.
But you don't think 6 games is enough of a consequence for somebody who dearly wants to be at every game?
I think he's lucky he's not lifetime banned.
I don't think it matters that he dearly wants to be at the game. I don't think that matters at all.
Because the consequences are the consequences.
I mean, is that what they said? Is that you were banned the rest of the season, the rest of the postseason?
Indefinitely.
They just said indefinitely, so they can change it.
And he's agreed to it.
I don't think there will be any more problems. I think if I'm a Pacers fan, I don't want him in any games. Okay, you're riding a hot hand right now. I don't want that could be the difference.
Yeah?
No, don't change anything. Keep your son without you there. Has suddenly turned into the greatest NBA playoff hero that we've seen in years. What's the difference? Your ass ain't here. Don't change anything.
But they won. They
fan,
had just beaten the Bucks when he ran out on the court.
Kept on winning without you.
Shout out to Giannis, though. AD, I'm glad you brought that up. I already held this guy in high esteem, and jeez.
Yeah,
he handled that
could have knocked that guy's head off. Yep.
His post game was great too. And by the way, Tyrese handled that well too. He said, "Yeah, my dad did something foolish. He shouldn't have done that." Interact on YouTube, on X. It's Murph_Andy. Email is Murph_Andy at IowaEverywhere.com. Andy, when last time you've checked that inbox? That's what AD's here for. All power.
The next time will be the first time.
By the Cellular Advantage, 35 regional locations, proud partner with U.S. Cellular since 1993. Andy, if I continue drinking this, I'm going to have to excuse myself for a couple minutes at some point. I broke the seal right before the show. Big mistake. What should I do?
Not a good place to pee under the table.
I've peed under a table in a press box during a football game.
There's a tree right behind you.
That's really nice landscaping, though.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Perfect landscaping.
Probably Kuberski Brothers.
It could use probably a little extra shot of nitrogen, but I don't know, man. I think you're probably just going to have to get up and excuse yourself.
All right. Thunder lead the T-Wolves 2-0, smothering defense. The Timberwolves are all out of sorts. This looks over. We'll see. SGA wins the MVP, and that's what we expected. I think the most fascinating thing here is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the 7th straight foreign-born player to win NBA MVP.
Jeez.
7th year in a row.
He's Canadian, so he's not.
States of America.
He's not from Guam or something. I mean, he's not.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying he's from the 51st state.
I'm not. I would never say that. Absolutely not say that. He is from almost America, right? So
almost America?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm from almost America.
They've got NBA teams.
That's a T-shirt, almost America.
No, I would not say that either. Jesus, Murph, the ugly American strikes again.
That's my role. That's my role. No, I think that AD. That's crazy, right?
It is crazy. Yeah.
All right. So who do we have? We have SGA.
Would have been
Jokic
and Jokic.
Giannis.
Probably really the two of them back and forth
multiple
a few
MVP
times.
them.
Oh, Embiid.
Oh, Joel Embiid.
There you go.
So there's 4, but that probably covers the 7 years.
I think that probably
right there.
does because Giannis won 2, I think, and Jokic won 3.
The most recent MVP born in the United States of America, Andy. Who is it?
Ooh,
AD.
LeBron?
No.
God, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know who.
Good outside shooter.
Steph.
Yep. Steph Curry. The most recent.
Jeez.
USA-born MVP. How about that? The Fever got revenge in Atlanta last night. Now, this game, the Dream play in a 3,500-seat arena that's almost never full. They moved this game
which
to...
is incredible. That's half the size of the Knapp Center.
Correct. Yep. And they moved this game to State Farm Arena, which is 17,000, and the game was sold out. Caitlin Clark had foul trouble. Natasha Howard was the... Howard?
Yeah.
Howard. She's the star of this game for the Fever. Caitlin Clark, by her standards, had a off night, 11.6 assists. But maybe the stat you take away from this, besides the win, which is what the Fever care about the most, but she had 0 threes in a basketball game for the first time since January of 2022, her sophomore year at Iowa. 0 threes.
She had it was foul trouble. She didn't have a good night. Didn't shoot well, but I'm sure she doesn't care. They won the game. It was confusing to have it on in the background though, because there's Natasha Howard and there's Ryan Howard for the other team, and they were the leading scorers. I think Ryan Howard had a really good game.
Yeah, they got in a little scuffle.
So they kept saying Howard over and over again. I was like, what? Kept hearing the same name. I thought somebody had like 50 points.
Play the Liberty tomorrow in Indianapolis, but the Liberty are favored in that game. All right, so thoughts on this. Last night at the game, WNBA midcourt said there's a pay some respect to women's sports logo at half court.
Huge logo
that read. Okay, I think they need to get away from this kind of virtue signaling and just let the basketball speak for itself. If I'm watching a WNBA game, I'm already paying respect to women's sports. I don't need to be hit over the head with this. It's like the NFL's end racism end zone. Like that's going to actually end racism or make somebody think, now that I see that in the end zone, I think I should stop being a racist.
Yeah, people point that out before.
Because it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's their campaign, though, isn't it? Aren't they?
Is that a campaign? I don't know.
It must be.
I think it's there. It looks like you've just,
it just seems heavy-handed.
You have
to
a
me.
chip on your shoulder, and like you put it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the intent is, of course, good, but move on to college football playoffs. The top 4 seeds will now get byes, so they change it. An Arizona State would not get a would not.
Two of the teams last year would.
Yeah, two of the teams. This also opens the way for Notre Dame to get a bye, right? The Notre Dame was boxed out of any possibility of a bye. Mm-hmm. Now Notre Dame can get a bye.
Boise State was the other one last year.
Yeah, some are surprised that the Big 12 and the ACC agreed to this, but as Chris Hassel was explaining, and I think he's right, well, he feels like, and many others do too, that they're hoping that this goodwill will come back to the Big 12 when it comes time for automatic bids.
Yeah.
When the playoff inevitably expands, probably next year, or vote will be next year, to go to 16 teams. They're hoping that leads to more automatic bids for the Big 12.
There are bigger fish to fry down the line. Yeah. There's no point in getting into a fight about something like this.
But have you been paying attention to these guys? These guys are cutthroat, man. Yeah. They will do what in their own interest.
There's no chance the Big Ten and SEC are going to be like, hey, you know what? You let us get rid of the dumb seeding thing. So, yeah, we'll give you an extra auto bid.
Yeah, we're there for you, Big 12.
We'll only have 3 of our teams in each year.
No
0%
way.
chance.
It doesn't happen a lot in sports with teams, with individual athletes, where somebody is looking at, like, the greater good. That doesn't usually happen. It's everybody for themselves. The athletes are just thinking about themselves. It's not until they're much later in their career that they somehow think, yeah, okay, I've made $500 million. I can take a little bit less this season so we can get some better players or something like it. You don't see anybody look to share until they are in first of all, in a great position for themselves, and then also until sharing somehow directly, immediately will benefit them.
Right. I don't think this is going to end up with being goodwill when it counts, but I understand
you don't
why
think they'll end up being, let's give the Big 12 a bone here because they were awfully agreeable the last time. They were really nice.
So let's pass on the potential multi-millions of dollars we get each time one of our schools gets in, and just be kind to our friends in the Big 12. I see this as being about as effective as, remember that stupid alliance?
Oh, yeah.
The
Big Ten and
ACC.
It was like a breaking
right.
news story.
And Pac-12, right? The Pac-12 which doesn't exist anymore.
The alliance, and then the
alliance.
The Big Ten turned around and just put a knife right in the back of those conferences.
Immediately turned around and took their best teams.
CBS Sports has its top coaches in college football. At the top is Kirby Smart. As you look at this top 10 list, you'll see you could take this top 10 list for the most part and come up with the NIL budgets, and they would match perfectly because, newsflash, the team with the most talented players usually wins.
Yeah, also like the AP top 10.
Yeah.
With one major outlier.
The outlier here is Iowa State. Matt Campbell is voted by CBS Sports the 10th best coach in college football. AD, I have a small screen here, but the other's like Kirby Smart,
Ryan Day, Dabo Sweeney, Steve Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, Marcus Freeman, James Franklin, Brian Kelly, and whoever the hell the coach is at Alabama.
There's your top 9. Those are your. Right now, we can pick out next year's national championship finalists will come out of those 9 teams.
Yes.
You can be sure of it.
The best team rankings seem more merit-based, right? I mean, you're looking at the team, you're saying, okay, I think they're going to be this good. But with the coach, aren't you just completely considering what they did last season or the few seasons in the past?
That's how Ryan Day gets to number 2,
well,
for sure.
For sure, because that guy was getting roasted last year. I mean, he was probably on the verge of being fired. He was.
Crazy,
but now what is he, the second best coach now? Is that what he is? Is he second? I couldn't read that list.
He was second. He was number 2.
Second best coach from a guy who honestly looked like he'd get fired at Ohio State and then wasn't going to have a job for a while because nobody was sure if he was actually a good coach or he was just the beneficiary of really good Ohio State rosters.
Well, yeah.
Now he's the second best coach. Well, he ought to be able to coach anybody.
Right. Do you think Matt Campbell could coach Ohio State's roster to a championship?
Yes.
Or Kirk Ferentz?
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this list, Campbell, this is a real compliment to be number 10. You're right, AD. He is the outlier on this list. Kirk Ferentz is number 19. when you go beyond the top 10. CBS Sports has Ferentz 19. Matt Rule is 32. And Bill Belichick is 54. The greatest coach in NFL history is 54. But how do you even decide where to put him?
Coach. I mean,
that's a guess, right?
Total
Where's Jordan Hudson on the list?
Jordan Hudson is 53. She is one ahead of Bill Belichick.
I was reading about how she got kicked out of a party. Did you guys see that?
No.
She showed up at a party where it was either being hosted by or the other person that was either hosting it or was a very prominent additional guest was Bill Belichick's previous girlfriend. And she was pissed.
I thought you were going to say she wasn't old enough.
Yeah, you had to rent a car to get there, and she wasn't old enough.
People are fighting over Bill Belichick. That's I know he's got money and success.
Yeah, there was like a cat fight.
Man, power is an aphrodisiac for sure. This proves it. Where's my wife Jenny? Have you seen her? It worries me when she's here and then I can't see her. I feel like she's in trouble.
At the bar doing shots.
I don't need that today.
Are you hoping that she's going to help run some coverage so you can take a whiz?
I'm just
looking around though. Hey, there's a lot of Iowa everywhere and Murph and Eddie merch. This guy's got a Trash Pandas jersey on.
That's a great jersey, Trash Pandas. That is what city is that?
What city is the Trash Pandas?
Man, what a great name, Trash Pandas.
Somewhere in Madison, Alabama.
Yeah,
didn't know there was a Madison,
I guess it's
Alabama.
in Alabama.
Single A, double A.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Angels.
Angels and Trash
Madison,
Pandas.
Alabama.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nothing goes together like Angels and Trash Pandas. The Indy 500 is Sunday. It is completely sold out. 350,000 expected. Even the reserve seats, which are the most expensive, they haven't been sold out the past few years. It's completely sold out Sunday, so that's a good sign for the Indy 500. But let's talk about the Wienie 500, which is happening for the first time. Andy, they're going to line up 6 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles and race around the track. I'd watch this. In fact, it's going to be televised.
Those are very top-heavy.
They don't go very fast.
Going to be tough in the corners. Yeah.
It looks like they're in slow motion when they've been practicing because the Indy cars are going like 250. So when you see a Wienermobile, it doesn't look like it's moving.
I have a corresponding experience, sort of. There was the one year where we took RVTV to Newton and we were parked inside the track.
Yes.
And they let me take the RV out onto the track.
Which seems like a really bad idea because the bank curves are steeper than you think.
There's no way they would let me do that now. There's no way.
The track or the people who own the RV? Plaza RV, yeah. Scott would be like,
he probably, I think Scott would be fine with it, but the people on the track, there's no way. There's no way. So I floored it down the straightaway and then came into it was not going very fast. I mean, this
sounds like a terrible idea.
I went into the curb and it hit the brakes a little bit, but I could feel the thing rolling, and I honestly felt it go up on 2 wheels. I felt it go up on the outside 2 wheels for a second. I was like, oh my God. So I slammed the brakes on because I almost rolled that RV in the corner.
You feel like you were close.
The turn, I guess I should call it the turn.
When you slammed the brakes on, did you immediately get a whiff of, oh man, somebody went brown?
No, that was after all that. You did that in 2002. I think this would have been like
allegedly
2008 or 9.
I need to remember people are eating lunch.
Yeah.
The Wiener race has me a little jaded though, because I thought like when they parked the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile at like a fairway in Urbandale, and we're like, hey, come out and check out. I thought that was the Wienermobile. I didn't know there were 12 of these things.
You thought there was like that's the Stanley Cup. There's only one Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
The Wienermobile.
I'm just seeing a Wienermobile. I'm seeing like Wienermobile 3.0.
I think it's like Santa Claus though. There's one guy, right, and then there are a bunch of representatives.
So I saw a Wienermobile helper.
Yeah, Wienermobile's a fan out.
Howard says in the comments that Jenny's getting hammered. Do we have any? We don't have any proof of that, do we?
She may be inside with my wife, who I can see has showed up over there.
I see Kahala. I don't see Jenny, and I'm concerned about that. Grimaldi's fan photo winner Who do we have this week, AD?
Let me pull it up here real quick.
I just sent that to somebody, so I sent that up to Zach Baldwin, so we had it right.
We got a baby.
Yeah,
and the baby isn't actually the winner. It's Bailey Sherburne who sent us. That's the new mother, the new proud mother. She says, we welcome the newest Iowa Everywhere fan last week. We spent our last Sunday pre-baby on the Grimaldi's patio watching the Cubs game.
Nice.
Here's some nice pictures of our newest fan, our youngest fan, about a week old, baby Sherburne.
So she felt like we would take to a suck up like that, right?
And
like,
she was
right. Totally right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and if you see the baby Sherburne may have listened to the show at this point, but does not look like the show has been watched yet because those eyes are still kind of closed.
Yeah.
They're headed to the Ankeny location for the Grimaldi's Cold Brick Oven Pizza. That is Prairie Trail in Ankeny. And now, Andy, here's our friend Greg Warren.
College wrestling is hard. It's very hard. I figured it out quick. Our first match was against this team, the University of Northern Iowa. And I wrestled this guy, and he was what they call in NCAA wrestling better than me. So we start wrestling, and I got tired. I was just laying there. I couldn't move, and they were all yelling at me. I was like, guys, I agree. This is bad, but we're not going to fix it tonight. Usually, when I get this tired, I do not get untired for 2 or 3 hours. My coach yelled, get up. I was like, I don't know if you saw. I tried to do that 7 seconds ago, and he didn't want me to. He threw me back down, coach. That's why I'm still down here. Were you not even watching?
That's funny. Wrestling.
Greg was a high school classmate of mine, and he was the best wrestler that had ever gone through our high school. And he went to the University of Missouri, wrestled there, and he was just a regular dude, just a guy in college wrestling. He was not a star. He quickly was made to understand that Missouri is not one of the great wrestling states.
It's not Iowa.
No, it is not Iowa. And I love it when he talks about college wrestling because he has he just is really good at making light of all the crazy things in that sport. And there's a lot of material for a comedian in wrestling.
And he leans into it.
He does. He won't always do it on command. He would come on the radio show and I would try to tee him up with some of that stuff, and he wanted to stick to the material that he was going to do at the Funny Bone that night or whatever. But when you'll catch him, not doing his shtick, just get him talking about college wrestling, it is so funny because he's just the best at making light of all the, weird stuff about wrestling. I mean, stuff about wrestling that's so different than other sports, especially out of the state of Iowa. Here in the state of Iowa, we're all pretty familiar with that stuff, but in St. Louis, we're like, oh, my God, what? And it's funny.
Our friend Ken Pink has come here to
hang out,
say hello, instead of texting us
drink
throughout
the
the
beers
show.
and kick some ass.
Didn't you? You said you wanted a beer at some point.
I'm going to get one.
Yeah, well, you don't have one yet. It is now time for Throwdowns here at Wellman's.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns, backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto brings us Throwdowns each and every day. They treat you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston. Murph.
Yes.
Olympic flag football is coming. It's 5-on-5. The offense has a quarterback, running back, 3 receivers. Defense is basically linebackers and D-backs. The entire NFL is available to you. Who is your number 1 draft pick for Team USA flag football?
Lamar Jackson. I want somebody who can pass and who you can't catch. I think he would be great at this. And I think with the 5 players, I think you could even consider having 2 quarterbacks. You could put one of them at running back and create some other options. And you could have, you can have a running back or receiver snap the football. Linemen are out in this. And by the way, what are the odds the United States wins the gold medal in 2020? This should be a lock, right?
I would say strong.
If we don't win this, what the heck?
I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs of the Lions.
Ooh.
The guy has got absolute home run speed, incredible juke moves, kind of small and compact.
That's good.
Play all over the place, yeah. And I think he throws some passes, too, every now and then.
What about Tyrese Hunter?
Yeah, that's a really good pick right there.
You play him both ways, and
comes in with a rookie chip on his shoulder too.
Ooh, Tyreek Hill.
Man,
you would have to quarantine him from the ladies.
Yes. There's no way. You got one game with him. If he goes out that night, he's spent. Right, he is spent.
Yeah, it's not the only thing.
He's so tired and empty.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, state track is going on over at Drake's Blue Oval. What's the best high school state championship venue in the state of Iowa?
Ooh.
They don't play at Principal Park anymore.
Yeah, don't play at Principal Park anymore.
Although those fields are nice over in...
No slight to Wells Fargo Arena, but it's not Wells Fargo Arena.
No.
And no slight to the Unidome. It's not the Unidome. I think it's the Blue Oval. I think it is the Blue Oval. It's historic. It's something you recognize from a distance immediately. If the weather is nice, which it usually is for state track, that's usually a pretty bankable weekend of good weather. Then it looks beautiful. So I'll take the Blue Oval.
I'm going to go with the charm and the history and go with Merchants Park over in Carroll. I mean, I know it's lacking
Is that
some
the
of the
home
amenities.
of the Carroll Kemper team? Do they play there?
Carroll Kemper play at Merchants Park?
Merchants Park, yeah.
Does Carroll play there too?
That Kemper allows Carroll to play there.
Yeah.
Scott Siepker is here.
Yeah, how often do you think he just wakes up and just thinks to himself, why couldn't I have gone to Kemper? Why did it have to be my brother?
Murph, Wellman's has great food, including brunch on the weekends with bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. What's your go-to brunch drink?
This would imply that I have brunch a lot. Like I just have a set drink.
You seem like a brunch guy.
I think a brunch for Mother's Day and overpriced brunch. Like normally this is $14, but since it's Mother's Day, it's $56.
Yeah,
today. Right. It would be a Bloody Mary. But Jenny and I even keep on our phone a list of yes and no Bloody Mary places because the ones where the Bloody Mary tastes like cocktail sauce.
Right.
But the ones where the Bloody Mary tastes like it is at, say, Cooney's or where it's got some spice to it, a little bit thicker, zing-zang tasting.
Yeah.
That's what you – oh, wow. Thank you.
Oh, what's that?
That's very nice.
Is that a light beer from Miller?
It is a light beer from Miller. Now, they don't pay for this, but there you go.
Andy, what's your go-to brunch drink?
I hate mimosas.
Really?
I hate them.
I've never had a mimosa.
I hate champagne. God, I hate you know what else I hate? Champagne and white wine sucks.
It's like carbonated orange juice. It's fantastic. Mimosas are great.
Apologies to anybody enjoying a mimosa here on the patio.
You've got terrible taste in drinks if you are.
Jeez.
Honestly, I want to say a Bloody Mary, but I'm going to say red beer. Give me a beer with tomato juice in it and a little bit of lime.
Oh,
God, if you sit in this right now, you're going to fall and break your crown.
Hey, AD, are you on Mr. Movie's Wi-Fi?
Do I look great on my computer? I don't know.
Because over here you look like Mr. Movie at that fake Palms background.
There's a look up my nose. All right, that's Throwdowns.
All right, thank you.
Red beer sounds good right now.
Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy. This would be a great time for somebody to hand you a Confluence.
Yeah, we got some of those coming. They're on order.
Oh, okay, good. Because we were there last Friday. That's the second strike. I think we're on to something here. We were concerned today, and the weather's fantastic. Last week, we were told it was going to be so windy that my hair would move, and it wasn't that bad over at Confluence.
No, it got worse later in the day, but we had just
we were
sweet
clear.
Spot of the day was beautiful. Today is amazing. This is a great day to be on the patio. What a perfect way to start off the holiday weekend.
Let me ask you this.
With a nice day drink.
Do you
got to be careful with the day drink.
Do you think I can make it to the end? I mean, my teeth are
Do you
floating.
have to pee, man?
I got to go bad. But
Is that why you looked at that beer
Yes.
Like it was like a redheaded stepchild.
I'm just not sure
You were
whether
like, they
to
brought
stay
you that beer and you
hydrated.
were like, oh, jeez, I didn't invite that.
I got Red Bull, and I got nothing healthy here either.
Just
got a
don't
beer.
look at this. That will remind you of people.
All right, ready or not? Now, before we get into this, did you talk to Siepker about not playing to the back row and not yelling and screaming? People are enjoying lunch.
Yeah, play to the camera here, Scott.
Okay, here we go.
Microphone.
All right, ready or not? Scott School.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
You guys ready to go?
You got it.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm not going to play the back row. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out today. Yeah.
That's one. That's the free one.
We're cutting you off after that.
Hey, welcome to Scott School. So a lot of people love teeth, and they're important. But there's been a long, long debate about whether or not teeth evolved from the inside and out or from the outside to in. And now new research shows that for sure teeth started on the outside of fish and eventually made it inside. And that does mean that everybody from West Virginia is less evolved. And that's Scott School!
Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Best part about that is just as Scott's about ready to deliver his punchline, and he comes in with a couple of Confluence beers, just distracts everybody from listening to you.
I spilled it on his lap, too.
Spilled some right on
He
his crotch. He's got like a wet crotch now.
Remember that scene in Kingpin where the woman walks up with the kid and the baby in the baby carriage, and Woody Harrelson leans over and is like, oh, coochie, 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 spills his hot coffee on the baby. Baby like, whoops, sorry about that.
That is a funny movie. Oh, my goodness. To be in the presence of these world-class athletes. All right, Stupid Quickie poll presented by Scott Siepker. We also remind you Scott is here because of Hoodoo, the odd job marketplace. And, Scott, this one is not as stupid as usual, but, AD, go ahead and hit that because it's actually kind of even timely.
Yeah, if you won the Indy 500, which milk would you choose to drink? You go with skim, 1 or 2%, you go whole milk, or chocolate milk.
Scott, your question, so you go first. You must have something in mind.
Well, I was going to put straight from the teat, or I did on the pull, but you took it out.
I don't think that's possible. You would have to bring a cow out onto the...
You know how big that infield is. You enough room for a couple cows.
Or you didn't mean breast milk?
No, Mackenzie's not here, so
Pretty much
that would not be the Aran Islands. So
call it the tap. Just call it the tap.
Okay, the tap. So, but no, I would love to have a cow just come out there, but if not, I'm definitely going with whole milk.
Whole milk's making a comeback.
You're damn straight it is.
Yeah. You have to do whole milk because that's how you get the milk mustache. You got to have the milk mustache when you win the Indy 500. And remember when they would that Got Milk campaign where the athletes would do that? And you could just tell that they painted on that milk mustache.
It wasn't actually milk.
No, I know. It was just paint. But you get some whole milk, and you can get yourself a legit milk mustache.
I'm going whole milk, too. I'm not going to pick something just to be a contrarian. With that, AD, what do you pick?
Water.
You don't like milk?
No, milk is awful.
Put it on cereal.
If I absolutely had to drink milk, it'd be chocolate milk because it's the thing that tastes the least like milk.
What about skim? That's basically water.
It's disgusting.
It's straight
Skim
from the
milk?
teat.
I would rather drink
I don't like skim
cow
milk at all.
piss.
Whoa.
That's not true.
No, you're probably right. It's close though. It's close. I haven't had a glass of milk since I was like 8 years old.
Come on.
No.
What about with cookies?
It's really
disgusting.
Isn't
He
it?
eats his cereal dry.
Why would you ruin cookies with milk? Why would you ruin cereal with milk?
But think about it for a second though. Isn't it weird that we drink milk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's very weird.
I mean, there are no other mammals that, as adults, drink
Other
another
animals'
milk.
Well, I mean, unless you count your dogs and your cats and things like that we have.
Yeah, we give that
domesticated.
to them though.
Yeah. No. Everybody else is in the animal kingdom is like, you know what? We're
It's
good.
like drinking their blood.
yeah. Like once you can walk, you start drinking water.
So once you're weaned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good for you, and I love milk. I would drink Chocolate milk is like too good. I have to make myself
candy.
not drink
It's
it.
really
it's really good.
It's also good recovery for
Yeah,
a
it is.
workout.
Yeah,
It's very close to
got a lot
having
of
a protein shake.
There's no way that's true.
That's what Big Milk tells
no,
you.
there's
That's
no
not
way
true.
that's true.
I have
Absolutely
0% chance.
I can turn my son.
Find the
There's so
fattiest,
much sugar.
Let's find the fattiest drink we can find.
He's
It's
still
not
bitter.
the
He's just
fattiest
still
drink.
bitter.
God, he hates milk.
It's just awful.
Wait, is it a coincidence that Wisconsin is the dairy state?
It is a coincidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Funny
really?
because
Okay.
it's quite a coincidence.
Because I appreciate Wisconsin cheese, and that's about it.
What did you think of the Got Milk
Beer.
campaign? Got Milk?
It was so gross. I mean, it's gross to see milk on somebody's upper lip.
It kind
It's
of
a-
looks
you
like
have a
Absolute
beard.
turn
Turn-off.
You have a beard.
Yeah, and there's no milk in it. Zero milk in this beard.
Guy hates milk. He
Can't stand
hates
it.
milk.
It's awful.
All right,
It's why I don't watch the Indy 500.
let's get some more.
But wait, there's more. From Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Yeah,
Hey, somebody-
Murph has got to pay.
Somebody give me his beer, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody look.
Yeah, here, Andrew, come
Murph
take this
can't hold
confluence.
it. Murph can't hold
Come
it.
Take this confluence here. Kahala, would you give this to Andrew, please? All right. Well, geez, here we go. I guess it's just you and me.
I
just
feel like
me
we're
and
sitting
Scott.
too close together now.
More is brought to you by Either Or Eatery and Patio. We will be there in what is? Oh, that's Andrew putting his headset back on. Okay.
Yeah.
He thought it was me, but it wasn't.
We will be on
Oh,
that
it was my
patio.
noise, sorry.
Yeah. That was a lot of noise. You done?
I just heard the parental Andy come out. Eddie,
you done?
Stop it.
That's exactly what that was. That was Dad Andy.
Yeah. All
You
right.
done? Can
I
we move forward
I
here?
can turn Eddie into a slave by bribing him with chocolate milk. I'll be like, you're going to do a bunch of errands with me. We're going to do a bunch of yard work. And he'll just be like, I'll say, but at the end, we'll go get some chocolate milk. Okay. That's it. That's all it takes with him. I know my time is limited with that type of power coming that cheaply, so I'm trying to take advantage of it. Brought to you by Either Or. We will be there on their patio 2 weeks from today, right? Yeah, June 5th. Yeah, two weeks from today. But in the meantime, we're over at Wellman's Pub and Rooftop, which is a great place to be. They are kicking off their Wellman's Palooza this weekend.
Yeah, I think I broadcast more from this spot than any non-studio in my life.
Oh, really?
We used to be out here all the time on radio for the FM stations. And I'd be the guy who would set up the equipment and then follow the other guy around and we'd go talk to like drunk chicks.
Is this where you met Judy?
We actually met at the other Wellmans, but this is where we courted.
You were like the grip?
Yeah, exactly. I was the grip. I got to
key grip,
drive him
maybe?
around.
Best boy.
And we'd go around and they'd be like, hey, why are you here at Wellman's? These women would be, it's my birthday. Come out to Wellman's.
Yeah, we're doing Jello shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Woo! Yeah.
And then I'd have to like edit out the swear words, send it back to the studio.
That's why you're so good at unnecessary censorship.
I've had a lot of practice.
All right, he's back.
I'm
Murph,
comfortable here.
How was the bathroom?
You know Tom Hanks in League of Their Own?
It was one of those?
It was. I was like, how long is this going to last?
Well, I have good news. We're still in the intro of more. We haven't even gotten one story done.
What are the odds that I have to go again?
I've been on a holding pattern here to get you in here. All right, so it is kind of the unofficial start to summer. And Des Moines Splash Pools open this weekend. Teach Out Aquatic Center opens as well. Some of the other pools in the Des Moines Metro have actually delayed their openings by a week because it's kind of cool this weekend. It doesn't feel cool here. It feels plenty warm enough.
Especially since you guys took all the shade and I'm just baking in the sun.
Did somebody take?
What are we doing here?
Did somebody take my Confluence beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Andrew.
Well, you
Are you
got
gonna drink that
how
Miller
many
Lite?
beers? You got so much
I'll
water
take
here.
that.
And we need to. You
I
need
was
to make it
worried
through
about
more.
you, Murph. I was worried about
You
you.
broke the seal. You're going to go at least 2 more times before I'm done with this segment.
This is what's best for the show.
It is.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Murph, I know I was talking to you about this last night, but I wanted to point it out to the audience. I like it when school districts that are kind of they're in a situation, they're a little desperate, they need answers. They put their heads together. They come up with an idea, and then the idea works. I like seeing that. I feel good for them.
In anything, yeah.
In
Innovation.
Anything. The smaller school districts across the state of Iowa are in a pickle right now. They don't have much money. The state's not giving them much money. They can't raise property taxes to help give more money to the schools, so they're just stuck. They have a limited amount of money to spend on teacher salaries. Teachers, being capitalists like we all are, will move to other school districts, bigger school districts that can pay them more money for the same work. And a school district, a small, semi-rural school district like Martinsdale St. Mary's, just can't do much about it. So in over the past decade or so, they have lost a lot of teachers. They've had a hard time replacing them. Those teachers have moved on to Des Moines or Norwalk or a bigger district that could pay them more. And they have had a really hard time filling their open positions. So they've had to think outside the box. And one new trend that I think actually came from my home state of Missouri, which is usually not a good idea to follow Missouri's lead, especially rural Missouri's lead, which in this case it would be. But they heard that a 4-day school week can work. And so Martinsdale, St. Mary's, and Sadell, among other districts in Iowa, tried that this year. And I got the full report, as yesterday was Martinsdale, St. Mary's last day of the school year, the 4-day school week. Okay, here's what happened. By the numbers, students with failing grades at semester fell 25%. Number of student course failures at semester fell 34%.
Wow.
Secondary missing assignments at semester fell 60%. Average monthly discipline referrals fell 75%.
So 75. Why do you think that is? I mean, that's a big number.
I think. Well, I mean, first of all, kids are in school one fewer day. Some of the cynics would point that out.
Same hours, though, right? The same amount of hours.
Basically, the same amount of hours. They do meet the state's minimum hours requirement, but they had heard before that students focus more. They're better rested. They're better behaved. Teachers are more focused. They're more rested. They can get their stuff done on that one day off. You know, appointments during the week that are hard for teachers to make, doctor's appointments, dentists, eye appointments, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They can get all that done on that one extra day, which for Norwalk, they took Mondays off. They found it just makes everybody much more focused and effective those 4 days a week that they're in school. And then they're in school for an extra, I think, 50 minutes a day, which everybody told me they didn't even notice. They didn't even notice that extra time.
Wait, would you? Quick aside, would you pick Monday if you had the choice, or Friday? I think I'd pick Friday.
We talked about this a little bit. I think I would pick Monday. Just hearing that it worked so much better. It worked really well for Bill Watson and company at Martinsdale St. Mary's, and I've also heard Sadell, which pick Fridays. I've heard that they are considering switching to Mondays for next year, but I'm going to re-up with them in 2 weeks.
It doesn't seem to make sense, but I would rather have work off on Friday than Monday.
Did you say, what'd you say?
I'd rather have work.
Oh, work off. Okay, jeez.
I'd rather my kids had Monday off if there was going to be a day where they didn't go to school.
Why?
I don't know. It feels like them being home on Friday adds to the weekend in a way that Monday doesn't for me.
I think it's kind of hard. It's always been hard for me to feel like Sunday was really part of the weekend.
Yeah.
Because we work.
Well, that's a big reason.
Yeah.
But I think even when I didn't work Sundays, when I was on the morning show, I mean, I was just kind of feeling like, okay, I got to get it back into work mode. I mean, that's because I had to go to bed at 7 o'clock at night. But I mean, Sunday didn't feel like a weekend day. Anyway, more stats though. So they added 41 open enrolled students this year. That's big. That brings their money into the school district. That is up 86%. So families saying, I want to go, I'm going to open enroll my kid into the Martinsdale St. Mary's district because I want that 4-day week. They wanted to say they would open and roll them to take them out of their home district, put them in Martinsdale St. Mary's. That helps Martinsdale St. Mary's. 8 of 9 grade levels improved in math testing. 2 of 3 levels improved in science testing. 2 years ago, they ended the year needing to fill 15 open teaching positions. This year, there were 5 open positions. 2 years ago, they had less than 1 applicant on average for each of those 15 open positions. This year, they had an average of 12 applicants for each open position, and they had already filled them all.
Do you need to disclose some kind of payment from the Make School 4 days a week movement?
I mean, that's like, where's the line between impressive and shocking?
That is impressive.
The problem here, this sure feels like your Drake University. Oh my goodness,
that was almost
so
close.
Almost.
That was almost.
That was almost Murph's computer wearing a beard.
Okay, so Drake men's basketball, right? They do really well, and now every team just comes in and takes all their players. This is what's going to happen to these small schools. All this data is going to tell you that the big schools got to do this, and once the big schools do it, then the little schools, what are they going to do? Go to 3 days?
One thing that Dr. Bill Watson, the superintendent down there at Martinsdale St. Mary's, told me is that not that many schools have taken that lead this year. Collins Maxwell did. Baxter did. There were 17 school districts in Iowa doing that this year. I don't know that it'll be way up over 20 next. It'll be over 20, but I don't think it actually did catch fire. So he was glad. He was like, good. We still have kind of this exclusive thing to offer people.
Scott, why are big schools more attractive, all things being equal? Or is it not equal?
They pay more money.
They do pay more money.
Property taxes.
And where you live, right?
Okay.
Like if you live in a tiny town, you're not going to have as many amenities as if you live here in Des Moines.
But your dollar goes further.
Sure, but your driving time increases a lot when you want to go do something. Especially if you're a young person who's just out of college and you're like, man, do I want to go live in Collins Maxwell or do I want to go live in West Des Moines?
Interesting.
Martinsdale, St. Mary's, and Saydell are two districts that are so close to Des Moines. I mean, Saydell basically is just a suburb of Des Moines that you could just live and you could stay here and go work over there.
Is it easier for parents, though? Like, I don't know. Like, is 4 days a week easier for parents?
They thought it was going to be hard. Apparently, they got no pushback at all. They had a lot of pushback at first when the idea came out, and this year they saw.
You figure it out, right?
They figured it out. Yeah, so I'm glad. Kudos to them for trying that. Glad it worked out. Moving on now, everybody in the NBA is discovering what Big 12 fans have known for some time now. Grady Dick has a funny name. Howard Stern put this compilation together.
This is Dick trying to penetrate inside.
They try to go backdoor with Dick. Dick hard charging to the cup. Dick is going to score.
Dick was coming wide open back door.
Dick couldn't hit it.
Dick goes down.
Dick rises up. Dick goes down.
Mobile in, Dick is out.
Dick struggling big time tonight.
Dick's struggling big time tonight.
Dick coming wide open back door.
What percentage do you think those were knowing
embellished?
No, just that the broadcaster knew what he was doing versus it was innocent.
I'd say
50%.
I was going to go 90%. They weren't. Yeah, because in the flow of the game, you've called games before. It's hard to be thinking about that. You're probably very nervous to say Dick because you don't know how it's going to come out.
Now, Howard Stern also points out that some announcers at this point, they're trying not to say Grady Dick's name at all.
Trying not to say Dick?
Let's just call it Grady. Let's just call it Grady for the rest of the game.
Number 4, Grady. I'm not going to read his last name.
Hey, this boy balling right here, y'all. I think we pointed that out, Grady Dick. I can't say his name. I just can't say his name.
When did this take a turn? Because Dick used to be a name you would. I mean, and Richard were called Dicks, but
World War I. Very quickly.
I would love to know the answer to that.
Well, if there was a segment like where you learn stuff that you don't know, where somebody did a little research and then presented that would be great.
Originally,
sounds like more.
Well, Richard was the name. Then you had to shorten it to Rich, and then you shorten that to Rick because there's so many, right? So you had to rename
you got somebody
people.
with a speech impediment can't say R.
Well, think about how you drew Rick. R-I-C-K. It's very easy to turn that R into a D.
That
so then,
can't be how it works.
I don't think that's
yes,
how that
and then there are so many men named Tom, Thomas,
No.
Henry or Harry, and Richard or Dick, Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so then Dick just became known as a synonym for the male procreative apparatus.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Let me say this about Grady Dick from somebody else who grew up with a really tough last name.
Yeah, I don't think Scott knows Dick.
Yeah, see? You're doing it to him, too. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Guys, he's over it. He is over it. His family's over it.
Yeah.
You can say his name. You can laugh. Grady Dick, not even going to notice.
Dick
It's okay.
is
You
a
think
worse
it's
last
okay.
name than your name.
It is.
Yeah,
all
okay.
right.
Okay.
But speaking of dicks, everybody, Murph, I want you to watch your screen here. Scott and I don't have one, but watch your screen here. I know what's going on.
Try.
You're frozen? Okay. All right. Speaking of dicks, everybody, this poor umpire, he may need to check on his. This guy hits him square in the tip.
With the baseball?
Yeah.
Did the catcher just miss it?
Is it a foul ball or is it a?
It's a foul ball. Yeah, it tipped off. It's a foul tip right into the tip. It's a foul tip.
It's a foul tip.
And the
That's
noise
really
he
good.
makes is.
It's that delayed stomach ache that gets you right there.
And he's rolling around on the ground. It's hilarious.
It's a foul tip.
Let me tell you something that is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very true. Everybody who has ever had to wear a cup hated wearing the cup until they got hit, until they didn't wear one and they
100%.
wished that they had.
100%. It is so painful.
I don't even know. You don't really even appreciate it when you're wearing a cup and then you get hit in the tip, and you don't feel it because you got the cup on. You don't appreciate it then. But the day that you decided not to wear one and then you took one right in the crotch,
Yeah.
you are cursing your judgment for a week.
Yeah, that's what people are asking in the comments. They're like, how would an ump not wear a cup?
Sometimes
they're cumbersome. Even like the best ones, like the really curved to fit ones. Those are uncomfortable.
And they're always too small. They're always too small.
UFC fighters wear them, but
Nice. Walked right into that one.
Yeah. But yes, it protects if you hit straight on, boom. But if you had a little bit of an angle, that cup can catch the bottom of the ball, and even though it hits the bottom of your ball sack, it still hurts up top. Like, do you notice your balls never hurt?
Scott,
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
family right over here.
I'm sorry, I'm baking in the sun here.
Oh, that is a family. Oh, my God. All
It's
right.
great,
All right.
Andy.
Well,
We're in the shade. It feels great. Scott's just baking.
Glad we got that giant speaker over
Got
there.
baking like Reverend Ray.
Speaker is right on the family's table. It's National Penny Day, and that's actually ironic because the death of the penny is upon us. The United States Mint has reportedly halted any further plans to order any more of the penny blanks that are used to create the 1-cent pieces after the most recent supply is stamped. Once penny production is stopped, it's estimated $56 million will be saved this year alone.
That sounds crazy.
It does. Last year, it was estimated that 1 penny cost 3.69 cents just to make.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Like, okay.
It does leave you unable to break down the currency all the way to the cent, right? It does, right? I mean, although we have lived without half cents for a long time, we used to have those. We've been okay. I think we'll be okay without the penny. All right, last Saturday night in Punta Gorda, Florida, a crew driving a tiki boat. You ever seen one of those things?
Yeah, I
driving
have.
around?
They look fun.
They do. Well, this was a bigger boat, but it was still a tiki boat. They had a band on board. They were karaoke and stuff and music, everything. So they were driving a tiki boat. They noticed a man struggling to stay afloat in the water. As they pulled him onto the boat, they realized he was naked.
And afraid.
He was very sunburned. They say he'd fallen off another boat.
Naked.
And the other boat hadn't noticed.
They hadn't noticed?
No.
He was gone?
No. Also, he was drunk.
That I saw coming.
Yeah. That's okay, though. The guy gets out, puts on a robe, grabs another drink, walks up to the karaoke machine where he proceeded to completely kill it for over an hour to the delight of the other guests on the boat. He then passed out and had to be carried off the boat where authorities arrived to help identify the man and put him in touch with friends who could come pick him up.
That is a hero.
This guy is great. Now, when you say he proceeded to kill it, do you mean just with the amount of time that he spent?
He had a really good voice.
Really?
And a lot of liquid confidence flowing through his veins. So he got up there and just killed it.
I've had the liquid confidence, but not the good voice.
And he stayed afloat.
All right, listen up, everybody. A woman in France had tonsil surgery 14 years ago and woke up speaking English with a thick British accent. Now, that's strange enough, but her accent has been described as a Scouse accent. You ever heard of that, Scott?
Yes.
All right, don't tell me anymore.
Okay.
That is an accent from an area near Liverpool, heavily influenced by Irish and Welsh immigrants. It's kind of an oddity, even in Great Britain, kind of like a triple cross of accents all come together.
Really?
Here is a Scouse accent on a very happy soccer fan.
James Redmond, how are you?
I'm Sam, Paul, I'm fucking buzzing. 3-1 win against Arsenal, only team to win the first 3 games. Is right? Come mate! Fucking belted that, Paul. That was Scouse's fuck, that performance. Is right?
Absolutely.
How are you feeling?
I'm amazed, mate. I needed this. I said everyone come out a little bit disappointed because we can see the goal, but we were amazing.
Man, the guy interviewing him got one too.
I don't think I caught any of that.
It's funny when you replay it a couple times, it suddenly becomes much easier to understand.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
But it's so funny because the two guys understand each other perfectly, and they just keep the interview going on.
I didn't understand any
Welsh
of it.
accents are they mess everything up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to end the segment with a game of Who's the Asshole?
You asshole.
You're an asshole.
Stop breaking the law, asshole! Back off, asshole! This machine just called me an asshole.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
I'm an American. You're a sick asshole.
Well, he's going to learn that word sooner or later.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to lunch on the patio.
We're talking about donkeys.
Yeah, it's Fridays, beers on the patio with Murph and Andy.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Look. So more accurately, this particular segment could probably be called "Am I the Asshole?" And it reads like this. Murph, listen up.
I'm listening.
My girlfriend and I have been in a dead-end relationship for a while now.
Off to a bad start.
I know it, and she knows it. I've been ready to call it quits, but things have just kept coming up. First, it was her birthday, and I didn't want to ruin that.
Yep.
Then her grandmother died, and I really loved her grandmother and didn't want to pile extra stress on my girlfriend, so I didn't break up with her then. And then her sister got married, and I was, of course, invited. The family insisted that I appear in some of the wedding pictures, and while I told her dad I probably shouldn't be in them because I wasn't actually family, he insisted. So there I am in the big wedding photos with her whole family.
There's some random woman in my wedding photos, my brother's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
The iPhone has an app for that now.
Just remove them.
Yeah, remove her.
Finally, her family took a big vacation to Jamaica this month and asked me to come along. Once again, I was stuck. Go on vacation and prolong a relationship that's going nowhere, or break up with her and potentially ruin the vacation for her. I agreed to go, but then 2 nights in, we got drunk, got in a deep conversation, and we agreed that we should stop seeing each other when we got home.
Oh, man.
But the next morning, she seemed to forget that we'd both agreed.
I'm uncomfortable.
That we'd both agreed that would be best. She spun it all on me and said it was all me. She was crushed. The vacation was pretty much ruined. Her parents were visibly pissed at me. And she's now telling me I misled her and everybody else by going to her grandmother's funeral and joining the family in the wedding photos. She says I'm an asshole, but I think I was just trying to be nice and not rock the boat. Am I the asshole?
Who wants to go first?
I will. Yes, he is. His intentions are good, but the execution is terrible for everybody, including him. You have to stand up and do what's right. They should have done it a long time ago.
As a guy who has done, not the last half of this, but I dated a girl once for like a year that I didn't ever like because we were in a play together and I didn't want to ruin rehearsals or the show. And then it was the anniversary of her father dying or her brother dying tragically. Then it was her birthday. And then slowly but surely she moved in Chicago and we still stayed together. And I am an asshole because I was a coward.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what this guy is. He's a coward.
Yeah, he's not being nice.
No,
he's weak.
It's cowardly, and you're not doing yourself any good. You're not doing her any good. I was a coward then. This man is a coward.
It's weakness.
All right, hang on though.
It's avoidance.
I can see the funeral. I can see the funeral.
Hang on though. You guys.
We're talking about months here.
Talking a tough game here.
It's a tough game.
Oh yeah.
So, no. You guys aren't in this.
Yeah.
You don't.
Siepker wasn't, and he did the same thing as this a-hole.
No. He may be. I'm just trying to think of the other side here.
Okay.
Maybe he's thinking, okay, maybe some of these things will work out. They'll actually be nice. I will be helpful in this situation, and then we can break up after that and get through all of this, and we can both see the light at the same time, and it'll all be good. But then there's another thing, and then you think, okay,
yeah,
maybe this thing will be the same way too, and then there's another thing. And then the vacation, maybe you're even thinking, okay, we get
free vacation.
We have a really great time.
Free Jamaican vacation.
We both keep our heads on our shoulders. We come back, it'll all be good. And then we can get away from all of these events into kind of some open space, and then we can break up.
Because it's going to be easier to break up after you've been to a wedding, been on vacation, been to a funeral.
Well, I don't think he knew all those things were coming
That's true.
at once, though. So that's tough. That is tough.
It is.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm not saying it's not hard.
He wasn't trying to be the asshole.
No, but he wasn't self-reflective
He was
enough.
trying to be the nice guy.
Yeah.
Yes,
avoidance,
you can be so nice that you become the
He's
asshole.
avoiding the conflict.
And we nice guys, we hide behind the niceness because we don't want to put ourselves into a situation where we have to be the jerk.
Yeah, I've made this mistake. I've made avoidance mistakes before.
What if he's not as certain that they're done as he's saying?
I need to know how
maybe,
good she
maybe
is
there's a chance that he's going to be
as a girlfriend.
Okay. Oh, I think you're probably right. He's probably the guy. He's probably the guy.
Now, it depends if she was really rich and a 10, and all those things factor in, but he didn't say anything like that.
Free vacation to Jamaica.
All right. That's your more, everybody.
Well, let's see. I'm looking at the comments. Mike writes that Scott may have dated a friend of mine. Did her name start with an M?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, let's not pursue this any further.
Gus said, "Boy, did she dodge a bullet."
Yeah, I agree.
No, not
she's
you.
very happy
He's
now.
talking about the.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We're all right. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, take that headset off.
Yeah, take the headset off, Scott. Scott,
thanks for letting me get a tan, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming out, everybody. Yeah.
You know, he was relatively restrained today. Oh, geez, Scott. My God. There's always something with him.
All right. No, yeah, you are. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, put those on for a second. But first, it is time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day, and we call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. We appreciate their support each and every week. It is Friday, so some parental advisory is necessary. None of these bleeps are necessary, even for that table over here. It's all innocent conversation that's been had on an Iowa Everywhere show. What you hear is on you, not on us. It's This Week in Iowa, unnecessary censorship.
Oh, my God. Something just fell.
Oh, what was that?
No, just a guy in a Murph and Andy shirt knocking over a
That's Big Papa.
That happens every day.
Yep, that's Big Papa.
That's why you were interested in the first place, watching people horses, trying to see who's the fastest.
In their video, the Colts had Tyreek Hill arrested by the Coast Guard. They had Patrick Mahomes' dad drunk John Rocker.
Kind of looks like South Park.
Is there a bigger overreaction than we had
to flight safety after 9/11? No. We have made it so hard to get on a plane.
I'm fine with it. I will take off my shoes. I will show everyone in the airport my I don't care. I don't want that plane to go down.
And look at him there. He almost looks like he's at a 49ers, fan experience where you get to go sit at the table and pretend you're a I mean, he just looks so happy. All innocent. That was signing a contract.
Yeah.
Signing a contract. Drunk fighting.
Yeah, Mackenzie's okay showing everybody her toes.
Oh.
That's an odd thing to say.
It is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
Mackenzie is
Hi,
weird.
Annie.
Hi, Keith. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to have you guys here.
It's good to be here, and it's a beautiful day.
Oh, my gosh. We just dodged a bullet, didn't we?
I came in with the Peggy sweatshirt, and it didn't last. I didn't get to the show with it on. This is great.
I know. This is perfect.
This
if
is
I
a
have this all
lovely
night,
patio.
It's sometimes hard to know where to find Annie Baldwin, but they have so many different properties around the Des Moines Metro,
including this one,
including Wellman's. Why is Wellman's special?
Well, this is the big one. And Wellman's Ingersoll was my favorite bar growing up.
The OG.
The OG. And when it came up for sale, Mike Wellman came to us, and I said, we have to have Wellman's Ingersoll. And just because I had such memories there from I shouldn't say high school, but college.
It was high school.
When you were 16.
It was high school. You just told us.
What was the drinking age back then? But so we got Wellman's Ingersoll. And then we opened this one in 2010. And honestly, it was during a recession. I mean, we were kind of just in that mindset of, oh my gosh, we just opened this huge rooftop bar. What are we going to name it? And we didn't have a name. And I said, everybody knows Wellman's. It's a staple of Des Moines. Everybody loves it. And that's kind of how we came up with the name Wellman's at the big one here.
When it first opened, it was kind of alone out here. It really stood out, but the neighborhood has kind of grown up around it. The landscaping is all grown up around it. It really fits now. It's almost kind of tucked back in here now.
Yeah, you could never do this. Tom and I talk about that all the time. We could never build this now. I mean, for what it is. I mean, it'd
be too expensive.
It'd be too expensive. People wouldn't jump on board to loan you money for a huge rooftop bar in the middle of West Des Moines. High risk. And it just, it happened when it happened, and it turned out the way it did. And
who's Mike Wellman?
Mike Wellman is from the Wellman's family, big Roosevelt family. And his brother Mark and him, he and Mark built that bar, opened on Ingersoll in 1982. And he kind of just got over it. So by 2006, he was done, starting a family, and decided that he wanted to sell.
I remember going there in college. It's kind of one of then you own Peggy's as well. So it's one I was going to say. Wellman's one of the few bars kind of down there that hasn't really changed too much in all that time.
Right.
But
it's still the worst parking lot in Des Moines. I mean, that's what we always say.
We were at the Wellman's OG this past Saturday watching the Fever game, and it was fascinating because the place was packed to come watch the Fever on a Saturday afternoon.
Isn't she the greatest?
Could you ever imagine that? Where when it was over, all but a few people left. They were there for like 2.5 hours, and then they were there to see the game.
I know. Thank God for Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
she has carried us through so many March Madnesses and thank you, Caitlin Clark, if you're listening, because
you could put her on the screens in here and know that you're going to get a crowd.
Sound on. I mean, women's basketball. She has just changed everything.
Isn't that something? And this is one of my favorite places to come and watch sporting events because you can't sit anywhere, including out here, without big screens everywhere.
Yeah, this is a big sports bar.
Yeah.
We're on our 15th year, which I'm very proud of.
Really?
15 years.
So what starts this weekend kind of starts off the summer, though. I mean, a rooftop bar that's a warm weather place, and this weekend gets it started for you.
I open the rooftop right around Mother's Day. It's kind of like planting flowers. Once I have to kind of watch the weather because everything's it's its own separate bar upstairs. So we're gonna have that open today at 3. We have our little Wellman's Palooza. We have Final Mix here tonight, and then big bands all weekend. Sunday is a huge day for us. Hopefully the weather is good, but rain or shine, we'll have live music here all day Sunday.
Nice.
How many people have complained about having to listen to this show as they're enjoying their lunch on the beautiful patio?
Oh, I think everybody here is a fan of you guys.
All
You
right.
guys are staples in the community too.
Well, you guys, you've been part of our show since we got started on the radio at KXNO.
That's right.
Yeah,
I put in a good word for you.
You did, with our boss Joe McRae.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It was a
but
good thing.
It was a good thing. It was a good thing. Okay, anything else you want to tell people about why they should come by?
Well, I'm just happy that the weather's nice and hopefully have good weather all weekend, and everybody's welcome to come out here. We have a good brunch on Saturday and Sunday. It starts at 10 a.m. Bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. And
Andy says mimosas suck.
They're terrible.
why is
hates
that?
them.
He's probably got acid reflux or something.
Yeah, he does
He's got a lot of, he probably has problems.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like the best drink. It's carbonated orange juice. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He hates it.
You just
They're
need a
so
touch
good.
of orange
Yeah,
juice.
exactly.
It's
Just
like
a touch.
let's take something sour and make it more sour.
Gee, he's a mimosa hater.
Bloody Marys are amazing. Red beers. I do like brunch drinks, but mimosas are terrible.
Well, that's
He's
that's
always
not.
got
But,
something to
but
complain
brunch
about.
is great. That's right. So,
He's
gotta have it.
famous for having things bug him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you were reluctant to sit down with us and put the headset on, but thank you for doing that.
Well,
Thanks for having us out here.
Thank you guys.
God, the weather is it's been
it's
great.
amazing.
Perfect.
My gosh, we're starting to realize that by the time this patio tour wraps up, that we're going to need to give more thought to the shade. One of the nice people who works here brought us an umbrella because our equipment was overheating. It's in the 60s today.
I know, it is
Well, we'll
just
be in
perfect.
the 80s before we know it.
I know.
That'll be a whole different thing.
Well, great place out here, and all weekend long they are cooking at Wellman's Pub and Roof Shop. It kind of not even in the like West Des Moines anymore. This is kind of the middle of West Des Moines.
Yeah, how did that happen?
The Waukee group.
It's kept on, Waukee.
Is this the Waukee side of West Des Moines?
No.
This is this is just
Jeez.
this is the middle of West Des Moines.
No, people are offended by that.
I gotta say hi to my brother though, because I know my brother in Arizona watches this podcast. So hi, Tim.
Good. Oh,
He's
good.
a big Cyclone fan.
We are huge in Arizona. We're thinking about calling this Arizona Everywhere.
Yeah, big Iowa crowd down there.
That's next.
That's it. All right, thank you, Annie. We have a quickie poll result here presented by WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
Yeah, should the NBA let Tyrese Haliburton's dad, John, return to Pacers home games? 61% say yes.
Yeah.
51% are with Murph and feel bad for the Haliburtons.
6 games. He's missed 6 games already.
Yeah, he almost started to brawl on the court with an NBA player. The other super quickie poll, if you won the Indy 500, which milk would you choose to drink? 38% go with chocolate. 30% say 1 or 2%.
Wait, hang on. 38% win the Indy 500.
Yes.
They're standing there on the original bricks.
Yep.
And they drink chocolate milk.
We're a nation of children, Murph. We are children. Milk is gross. Chocolate milk's the only non-gross option we gave people.
Oh, we got to end this show. I got to pee now. So bad.
Right.
Oh,
I'm
my
fine.
God.
All right, I'm sorry, AD. Finish the milks.
I think that's, let's see. Yeah, 30% say 1 or 2%, 17% say whole, 15% say skim. Your skim
17%
milk
whole?
is last.
No, I want whole milk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's skim milk.
Gross.
Come on.
You got to chew whole milk.
Skim milk sucks. Andy, what else you want to talk about?
That's it. That's it. Good night, everybody. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you for supporting local media. And thank you to Ramsey Subaru for presenting the Murph and Andy show. No show Monday. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Be sure to check out the merch store starring Andrew Downs and AKC Marketing at iowaeverywhere.com.
Yeah, buddy.
Before we
What
go
else do we
here,
plug?
let me read the menu.
Good night, everybody.
Appreciate
you coming out.
If you get a chance, please like, review, and subscribe.
Clear out those urinals. Here I come.
Andy, anything else? If you like and subscribe, whatever platform you found us, clear a path, please. Clear a path. Clear a path. He has to pee. Andy, hurry back. All right, that's going to do it. We're done.
Murph and Andy was brought to you by Ramsey Subaru on Hickman Road in Urbandale.